All right, everybody, it is I, Nick, Pennsylvania. I am coming out of a cannon here tonight. I have been on the road the last few days, driving around Pennsylvania's northern tier. I'm here with my good friend Bond. How are you, Brendan Bond?
I am fantastic, bud. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Funny enough, I was on some roads, some stretches of roads
Mm-hmm.
I had not been on since I was with my previous position, which was in the same field, but these were roads that I was traveling once or twice a month, every single month for
Mm-hmm.
8 years.
Right.
And then I haven't driven on them for a long while. One of my friends and colleagues gave me a call while I was on the highway, and I'm on Pennsylvania Route 6
Mm-hmm.
between I was between Union City and Warren, PA.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and I'm driving through the potato fields and everything. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not through the fields themselves, but the roads which abut them.
Yeah.
And we were chatting because we both came out of the same position. I was just saying, I'm kind of in a weird state of mind right now. She was calling me
Mm-hmm.
about something to do with work, and I'm like, I'm telling you what, I'm having like weird flashbacks years and years ago because I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing this land. And there were iconic things, little stops along the road, which I had recognized and I remembered from my very first drive
Right.
along that stretch of road. And they were there and somehow unchanged. And yet, so much of the towns around them had changed,
Have.
but
Mm-hmm.
it was weird. And I stopped by some old haunts and I found a great restaurant. I didn't find it. It's been there for years and years and years,
Mm-hmm.
but I asked another woman I work with. I had seen her earlier in the day, and I said, "Listen, I know you're from Warren. Her name is
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, the Lauren from
The
Warren,
Lauren from Warren. Yeah.
the Lauren from Warren. She's got a lot of fans."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, where do I want to go to eat? Because I want to go somewhere different." She's like, "Well, here's this place, there's this place. Had those, done that. The Plaza. I was gonna go for dinner. It's an old Greek diner, been
Okay.
around
Nice.
for like 60 some years." And I ended up going there for breakfast, and I was in when you got a Hank errand for blueberry pancakes?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was in that
Yeah.
mood. That was the status.
Yeah.
So I get there like it's 7 in the morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna grab two of them blueberry pancakes because they offer one, two, or three.
Nice.
And I agree.
Tall boy.
Yeah, the young lady behind the counter, and it's great, great looking place. You'll have to look up a photo of the
Oh well.
inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like a flat iron like building out front. There's
Mm-hmm.
like this triangle and there's a beautiful fountain with elk and fish and whatnot. And
Sounds great.
yeah, the plaza is right beside that. So anyway, she says she gives me the warning that many wait staff have done when it comes to pancakes before, and I think you know what I'm gonna
Right.
say.
Yep.
She
Mm-hmm.
goes, "Are you sure you want two? The pancakes are really big. They go to the
Yeah.
edge of the plate." I'm like,
Yeah.
something in the way she said it. Um, I'm like, you know what? It's early. Maybe I'm not using my best judgment.
Judgment.
You know what? I can always order a second one.
That's true. It's
It's
very
right.
rational. Very rational.
So
Yeah.
thank you. So I do that, and I get a side of bacon and coffee that came with a saucer as well, which I thought was dainty. And this pancake, it was great. I'm just let
Yeah.
me.
Like
I
quality
know you're
pancake, right?
wondering. That's the first thing
Yeah.
you're wondering.
Right.
Was it crispy all around?
Hmm.
Indeed, it was. But it was served, you know those salad serving plates where it's like a shallow concave, like a
Right.
bowl, but a
Hmm.
wide rim,
Yeah.
about 12-inch diameter, maybe up to
Okay.
14-inch diameter.
Okay.
The pancake is served on that.
Wow. That's
And it
interesting.
does. It goes to the end. And there's a pat of butter, but it's in the concave.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Yeah.
like contained.
So it's a
It was It was really good.
yeah.
It was a lot of pancake, and I told the lady, I said, I'm really glad you
You
talked
warned
sense to
me.
me.
Yeah.
I would not enjoy being defeated by the
By
second
two.
pancake,
Right.
right? In such a public fashion.
Right. Yeah. You can't send that back. You can't have the busboy clean that up. for
you
you.
don't, and who
Yeah,
gets what sort of monster? You're like, can I get a box for this pancake?
right.
You know, this thing of
Oh,
bread dripping in syrup
that's
and
that's a great way to get a wellness check called on you, man. Like, like
but are
that's
you gonna eat this pancake
yeah. It's like,
later?
sir, are you just gonna like just are you just gonna grip this up running going down the road? Like
Right,
you're like
ew.
this isn't gonna
Sticky steering
last.
wheel. Ew.
Yeah, this is yeah. It's just no
They would
good
have
can
had to
come
have
of
like a
it.
pizza box to put it in.
Right.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So I want to go back there. I'm so excited to go back
Let's do
there
it.
and
Let's
get
do
do
it.
lunch or dinner because they have like souvlaki and a bunch of Greek
Nice.
things as well as a classic diner fare. The Lauren from Warren says the pies, and I don't think you can call yourself a diner. And they don't call themselves a
Hmm.
diner. They are the plaza.
Yeah.
But that was a place that was new to me. I was very happy. I ended up at a hotel
Nice.
that my work books the hotels for me. I tell them
Right.
where I'm going and like, here's my top three choices for hotels.
Right.
And they put me in one and I went to put my giant bottle of water away. There was a big styrofoam container in there that was just it was just tube noodles and sauce. And it was like 3 pounds. I'm like, wow. I know I'm smart. I'm hip. I
Yeah.
stay in hotels. I know like I can't eat
Yeah.
this rigatoni because like they're gonna charge me. I
Right.
played this game before
Right.
hotels.
Fool me 3 or 4 times. Joke's
Shame.
on. Yeah.
But as I was driving
Yeah.
around, I was listening to a lot of Jim Harold, and I
Nice.
haven't listened to Jim Harold for a
Hmm.
while, and it was nice.
He's so good.
It's so good. And what's interesting to me about him, and if you're not familiar, Jim Harold's Campfire,
Hmm.
one of the longest running names in the game.
Oh, for sure.
And he was really gracious, and he came on here. His people actually reached out to
Hmm.
us and came on
Hmm.
here and really enjoyable. And I know you and Mike, who started this,
Hmm.
were have been fans of his
For
forever.
sure.
But
For sure.
one of the things I find it real curious about him to like really get a feel for where he stands on a lot of things, you have to
Hmm.
listen a lot because he just takes in people's stories. So it's a
Right.
really good. It's like the campfire is like the annals of contemporary ghost and spooky
Hmm.
stories.
It really is. Yeah. Like he's kind of the archivist with a lot of
Yeah,
things
he's
because
like the
how many
curator of all
yeah,
these.
curator, yeah. And that's definitely something, that is a valuable thing that's gonna for generations to come, people are gonna be mining that.
That's yes. I wonder, like years from now, will there be a legitimate audio archive where
Oh,
people
I
have
bet.
parsed and
Hmm.
sorted? Stranger
I'm
things have
sure.
been
Right,
thoroughly documented,
right.
and I
That's for
think it's
sure.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, seriously
I
though.
think it's a massive collection of folk stories. If
Yeah.
you really want to get down to
Thousands,
it.
yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Yeah.
So hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully this gets around to Jim, and
I hope so.
I really do appreciate him. It was great to be able to listen to him along the drive. Especially at the dusk hour,
Ooh,
coming
yeah.
through the Pennsylvania woods on Route
Hmm.
6, one of the most beautiful highways in
Absolutely. Oh
America.
my gosh. Yeah. Top tier, no matter where you're at.
For sure, for sure. So what's going on? I know you said you had something fun. You were really eager to get going.
Hmm.
I know we took last week off just because we were swamped and we got a lot of
Hmm.
irons in the furnace. We're trying to have some interviews scheduled and just working with other people's schedules and ours and
Right.
trying to be respectful and being accommodating to everybody.
Yeah, we have a lot of, yeah, like I said, irons in the fires with a lot of different folks. So if they all line up at the same time, we're gonna have a bunch of interviews in very short succession.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Yeah,
marathon.
right. But if any of you out there, just to kind of always say this, if anyone out there does want to come on here and share stories, that's something we're always looking for. Or if you have things you want us to look into, or if you have folks you think we should reach out for interviews, we're happy to do that. So if any of you ever have any
100%.
ideas, just let us know. But yeah, so I had a few things I kind of wanted to talk about tonight that got me going on a few different kind of thoughts. So what I want to talk about tonight started with an idea that I had for an experiment that came from a John Keel book that I was reading. So in Our Haunted Planet, John Keel, who is a kind of classic Freudian high strangeness investigator and writer, talks about EVPs. And this is back in like the early 60s. And one of the things that he mentions is with spirit communication, and he kind of talks about how you need to be careful because you don't know what you're talking to and all this kind of fun stuff. But he brings up the mechanism and how we've talked a lot and with friends of ours about how whenever it comes to spirit communication, we really get caught up in how these things work and why they work and what's really going on. And one of the things that John Keel brings up is he talks about some investigators that he knows that are basically trying to do spirit communication with photography, but not the type of photography we would normally think of with spirit communication, which is like almost like that spirit writing or things like that we've heard of. What these investigators did back in the 60s, well, it could have been late 50s at this point, but John Keel wrote about in the 60s was they would basically take an unexposed roll of film, set it somewhere, and basically ask the spirits that were allegedly there questions and ask them to make imprints onto the film itself without ever actually putting it in a camera. And then they would just take it somewhere and develop it. So
Now, are they in a dark room? And by that I mean deliberately a dark room where there's no light exposure because
no, because some of the ones that they were talking about, they were outside in some of them.
okay,
So,
now I have extremely like me, my wife was a photographer, went to
great
school for
photographer. Yeah,
photography.
yeah.
Like kind of rebelled when DSL came around, really.
Hmm.
You yourself, I
Oh,
have really enjoyed working alongside her with the pinhole
hmm.
camera. I'm really
Right.
fascinated
Yeah.
by that. I have an acquaintance from the banjo community, Gavin, who
Hmm.
does really interesting stuff with plates and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to show you some of his
I'd love
work.
to. Yeah.
So but so I'm not, I'm a voyeur into it.
Hmm. You know a thing or two about
Um,
thing or two. Yeah.
yeah. But so when you take undeveloped film and like put it in the light, doesn't it just go black?
Well, so that's the thing is they would never take it out of the canister. They would
Oh,
they would never put it in the
okay.
camera. They would just take it
Because
out
I
of the
thought you were like,
yeah.
whoosh, just throw
No,
the like
no,
unfurl the film into a
they
yard.
would just take it out of the box, like in the canister, like 35 millimeter film, just set it there,
Yeah.
ask the questions, and then take it off to get it developed. Which I thought was a fascinating idea because I've heard people when talking about EVPs basically saying the same thing with magnetic tape, where they're
Hmm.
like, if these spirits, like if we're going with the paradigm that these are spirits we're talking to,
Right.
and if they somehow have a miraculous ability to imprint inaudible sounds onto magnetic tape, why does the tape have to be playing to do that?
Oh, okay. Okay. So here's
Yeah.
something I want to
Hmm.
say to that. Like,
Yeah.
not a bad question,
Hmm.
but with EVPs, my whole thing was okay, I think most EVPs, they're
Hmm.
not nonsense. They are us making sense of
The audio
randomness.
pareidolia. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Pattern seeking behavior,
Hmm.
patternicity. We've talked about this so much.
Hmm.
But what makes it more plausible to me
Hmm.
is if we're talking like there is a non-corporeal being
Yeah.
and it's
Create.
emitting sounds that are in our hearing range or just outside of our range
Hmm.
of hearing, if
Hmm.
there is something recording, it could record that. We could play it
Correct.
back. That
Hmm.
there's a tangibility to that that
Yeah.
makes sense to
Hmm.
me. Why does the tape need to be playing? Why does the camera need to be taking a photo? By the
Hmm.
way, I'm sorry, the windows are open. If you're hearing loud engines, I apologize. I can't wait for winter for
I
that
know, right?
purpose. But why does the tape need to be playing? Why does the
Hmm.
camera need to be why would a
Right.
spirit like if you said, "All right, Nick, hey, I want you to make images on the film inside this canister."
Hmm.
I wouldn't know what to do. Now, granted, film is not my fort. I'm a
Right.
dilettante, as we've established, but audio and
Hmm.
tapes, my God. Like
Right up your wheelhouse. Yeah.
for sure. But if you're like, hey, I want you to record like a little jingle, maybe an old chestnut,
Yeah.
but the tape can't be playing.
But yeah,
Like
no, no,
why
I'm.
would a non-corporeal entity, especially one we
Hmm.
can presume there's a good chance most people lived and died before cassette tapes or
Right,
photography. Like photography
right,
only goes back to the
right,
1830s. You
right.
know,
Yeah.
and recorded sound only goes back
Hmm.
to 1859.
Hmm.
And of course, the magnetic tape, I probably guess, would start with the wire
Hmm.
transcribers of the third. The bottom line is how, like, they wouldn't know how to utilize these things in
So
their
yeah,
lifetime.
you're saying how would the spirit
Right.
know how to do
Do they
that?
have access not only to additional information, but also some sort of tools and or abilities to manipulate these things in their
Right,
unintended manner? So if, like
right.
you're saying, we took
Hmm.
a thing of film and we put it in a box and we said use your finger to draw upon it.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I could get hip to that, but
Yeah.
so these aren't bad questions,
Right. I
but
think
they're
that's
questions where I'm like, okay, well, let's calm down a little bit.
mhm.
Why does the tape need to be playing? That makes sense to me. There's something that's making
I think
sound,
yeah.
and we know if you use a recording
Hmm.
tape, you can record sound.
Right. And I think that like with because I agree with what you're saying. I think that what especially with the EVPs on tape, I think what that plays into is also it challenges the premise that because some people do think that EVPs are not actual audible sound being captured, but are simply imprints. So it's not like it's going through, hitting a microphone and being transferred. It's just showing up there whole cloth, basically.
Okay,
But I think, but I mean, you make a great point that like,
but it is deliberate.
right, is it deliberate? Right, exactly. And I think this is an example of people asking at least again all this stuff should be questioned so I thought it was interesting that people were even asking those questions because at least it's something different and when I was telling some of my other friends that are spooky about this kind of about this stuff they're very aware that I am not into anything that could be even like close to like channeling like that stuff really weirds me out and
Okay,
they were like why are you okay with this and I'm like oh because this is just straight spirit communication this is not channeling like at all and that got
like
me
you're not using your body as a medium.
correct so that made me and that wasn't a distinction I think that some of my friends had heard before or just had thought of in the way that I think of it maybe because again all this stuff is kind of semantics so like I'm by no means correct on any of this but I
No, but you're saying one of the things that you don't want to, and again, you're already making assumptions that like there's
oh
a
for sure
risk, and I understand that, but
hmm
it's you're saying I wouldn't want to offer my body as a vehicle for something.
correct
We
correct
have the tape, we have something like that.
because there are things that are kind of like on that line, which I would think is like on the light end of things is like people who use pendulums for spirit communication, people who use dowsing rods, and up the whole way up to I would say Ouija boards.
Hmm.
Um, because like we know that like ideomotor functions, like ideomotor responses are absolutely a thing. That's not necessarily up for debate. I think what is up for debate in some of those things that people would call spirit communication, citing the idiomotor responses as something, and when we say idiomotor responses, just for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, it's the idea that basically you can have a thought or a mental image in your head that brings about reflexive or automatic small muscle reactions that you are not consciously firing. Like your conscious mind is not saying do this, but there's something happening based off of your thoughts or input that is making these very small movements happen. That's been studied honestly back since spiritual times because I think even Michael Faraday did examples with table tipping that basically showed that like hey like not saying that all table tipping is fake but here's
Right.
how idiomotor function specifically could influence table tipping what I would kind of argue is that those idiomotor responses could be a form of channeling like if you're asking these questions and let's say again these spirits have some sort of extraordinary abilities are you asking something to subconsciously help you move a thing, a pendulum to yes, or move a planchette? Because it is possible, maybe they are moving it externally outside of your body, but it seems too close for comfort for me. And that's why I wouldn't do any of those things. I love the idea of dowsing. I think it would be really, really cool. But the idea of possibly asking a spirit to communicate through my idiomotor responses
Yeah.
is like a bridge too far for me, if that makes sense.
No, I understand that. It's like I remember there was like this jerk on a school bus and he would do things for people. They like he'd give them
Hmm.
$5, but they'd have to give him their soul. And it would like they would write on a piece of
Oh my
paper.
God.
And it's like
Yeah.
even then I'm like, I don't believe in a soul, but
I don't like that.
I
Yeah.
don't like that at all. Like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, well, you don't believe in it. I'm like, I hadn't yet developed my James Hillman sort of sense of soul or whatever at that
Right,
time.
right.
But
But
the bottom line was like, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't, but that
hmm
doesn't make this any less gross to me or
yeah, it just feels
crass.
gross. Yeah.
It feels gross, yeah. And it's yeah. So I do understand where you're coming from
Hmm.
there. I will say when you first said, why does the tape need to be playing?
Hmm.
All I could think about was Senior Card Gauge trying to film using the Glade Air plugin. It's like we don't even need film,
Right, we don't even need
really.
film. Yeah.
Everybody's doing Glade plug-in air freshener shots these days.
That's a deep cut right there. I like
Yeah, that's
that.
boy, that's more esoteric than that time I referenced Peter Kropotkin on here. Like we're really going like a
There's
full,
one guy out
so
there who's like, finally,
wide.
finally, someone understands.
Yeah, this is
Um,
this is a pretty wide-ranging show, I
It
guess.
is, it
Anyway,
is. But I think that like when it comes to like channeling and spirit communication, I think that there's, like I said, there's pendulums. When we say pendulums, for those of you who haven't seen that, it's the idea of using like it's usually like a locket or a rock on like a chain, and you will hold it and ask the spirit to
yeah.
move.
It's very much the dowsing rod.
Yeah,
But
it's
there's bicycles and there's unicycles. There's
mhm,
dowsing rods and there's pendulums, and
right.
those are the analogies that. So I'm really curious, what came of the film in the canister? What
So
did they get? Was
So
it anything interesting?
I couldn't find example because he doesn't name the individual investigators, so I couldn't like find who it was. But I am picking up that mantle. I have a roll of 1600 speed film that I'm going to try and attempt this with. I haven't figured out where, when, or how yet. Uh,
Yeah, because you don't want to do that in your house.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
know where.
Yeah, where are you
I
thinking?
know exactly where. There is a theater
Hmm.
in the town where you live.
Right. There is. Yeah.
There is. I'm not going to say because it is
Hmm.
a semi-private building.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably should just walk in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh,
but you can.
you kind
You
of could.
can.
Yeah.
You kind of could because you definitely are allowed to.
Right. But
But there are long stories of
I
that
wonder.
place.
Yeah.
The other place
That's a good
there
idea.
is at the mill, the
Hmm. Oh, that's a good
bridge,
idea. Yep. Oh, that's a
right?
good idea, actually.
And then, of course, there is the
Yeah.
cemetery we went
Hmm.
to and recorded not that long
Right.
ago. But I
Hmm.
think I won you with the bridge.
I know. I think the bridge is going to be the winner. Um,
It's a different location, one.
it's something different. Plus,
It is a story location.
yeah.
We should do in
As
between the bridge and the mill because, of course, the mill, and they're right next
right.
to one
Right.
another. And we're talking a
Yeah.
matter of 20 yards.
Right, and that's a good spot too. Because what I already did was I have a place down in Alabama that I send all my film to. They're
Hmm.
very, very good. And I emailed them and was just like, hey, because like they're all photographers because they work in a film lab, and like they are
Right.
they're pretty like their customer service is great. It's fantastic. So like
And I
there's
would
been
hope it would
yeah
be because it's
there's been
becoming a
times
niche.
right, but there's been times where I've sent them rolls of film and they've been like, hey man, we tried to save this and like waka waka, and like nope, I get it. So I emailed them. I was like, hey, if I send you a roll of film and specifically say on this like develop, do not enhance, do not correct. I'm like, don't even basically don't even just scan it.
Don't even
Don't
try.
yeah,
Just do it.
like don't even try and line the cells up because normally you try and like line the exposures up with the markers and everything.
If you
I was
say
like,
so.
yeah, well, you have to normally, but otherwise stuff just because it's not always the same length. And I emailed them that, and they got back and they're like, sure, but why? And I was like, well, this is the point of my where I'm at in my life right now. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing an experiment with ghosts, and I'm not exposing this film at all.
Did
So
you explain that you're recreating? We're doing a
yes,
peer review
yeah,
research.
yeah. This is yeah. No, I wasn't quite as flippant as that, but yeah, I explained what I was doing and why I didn't want it corrected or enhanced like at all. Um,
Super curious as to their response.
they acted like it was the most normal thing they had heard on a Tuesday.
They are
They
accustomed to dealing with much more sick
I
people
bet,
than
yeah,
ourselves.
I bet like they get some weird stuff.
Oh my
But
goodness,
but
yes.
no, they were super cool. They're like, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, we can just scan it. They're like, just make sure to mark that. They're like, we'll tag this email on your account, like so we can have it for reference. Very nice
Do you
people.
know, go in a weird place real quick. You know how like the Polaroid revolutionized homemade pornography?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
There were animals that were submitting that film to other places. So I think there's a
Yeah.
long and storied history
People
of
doing
film
weird stuff.
developers. Like
Yeah.
the fine folks at
Yeah.
Kodak were probably traumatized, you know,
That's true.
over and over again.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
it beyond like the sexual aspect, there is like I used to collect postcards, not
Hmm.
seriously, but
Yeah.
mostly of specific areas. But
Hmm.
there were the I'm trying to remember the French word, not moribund, but they were during World War
Hmm.
One. There was a huge industry of taking photos of the dead
Oh yeah.
soldiers.
It's a big thing. That's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I had some of that,
Hmm.
and somebody developed
Yeah.
it. And I mean, like,
Right.
because you know, we're talking about like
Hmm.
you know people's farm fields, so it's not always
Hmm.
like professional photographers with labs
Right.
developing them.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
think that
That's a good
if that
point.
is something that existed then, it
Hmm.
certainly exists now.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's one of the because the thing is, I I managed a film lab for a while,
Oh, that's
and
right.
yeah,
I
and
forgot all about that.
yeah, and like thank God never got anything like turbo weird dropped off there, but
Nothing turbo
like
weird.
yeah, like just like your normal weird stuff, you know.
I'm really curious. That's not to divert too much from the topic at hand, but
No, it's just like I mean, like we just got like weird stuff where you're just like, what the hell is going on in this photo? Like
oh yeah,
nothing like illegal, you know, but just you're like,
right.
what the heck are these people? Like, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? The most racy thing you would get would be people like messing around with like uh those like disposable cameras on like vacation on cruises and stuff,
Hmm.
but like nothing ever illegal, thank God. But yeah, you see
Yeah,
some
so
weird
these
stuff, but
folks are
nothing.
like, so okay, yeah, well, you want us to develop your images of nothing?
Yeah, cool.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sign us up.
you could
Same
charge.
rate, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they were cool. But like, so that's so I want to try that. I want to try uh, doing this and just again,
I'm
um,
game.
yeah.
I'm game.
My hopes aren't terribly high, but
No,
I
because I'm
have.
thinking you didn't see the results of the initial experiments because they
Yeah,
probably didn't use. So there we go.
right. So like, but in my theory, if we get basically anything on there, uh, maybe you never know. You never know. Maybe we'll get something. Um, maybe it's a
But
big thing.
okay, talking about this out
Hmm.
loud, as we know, you know, the medium with which we are more on even footing in our
Hmm.
knowledge of.
Right.
You get a blank cassette for your
Hmm.
4 track, your Tascam
Right.
as a
Right.
kid.
Absolutely.
Love that Tascam. Anyway, you know, sometimes those can be damaged before you open them. Sometimes if
Hmm.
they've been too close to a magnet, there
Right.
are other factors that you
I'm
can
sure there's
have.
ways. Oh, that's a good. So you're saying we need to
Film
control it.
can be the same way, though,
So
right?
yeah.
Film can
So
be damaged before you've put it in a camera,
right. So
even a
like
sealed container.
right. So like I. That's a you know what I'm gonna have to ask this film lab about that. That's a good question because like I I've never had knowingly had film that had any sort of exposures on it prior to it going into my camera. But now that I'm saying that, I wouldn't know because, like,
But have you not
yeah,
heard of things like that happening where or it's yeah, even just
usually,
like a
usually it's
partial
a
exposure?
yeah, usually it's a light leak on a camera.
Right.
That's what it usually is.
But you know, like people look at like dust and what do they
Right.
say?
Orbs.
Orbs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's that could be something
Yeah.
that could have been misinterpreted.
Right. But if we take something like out of heck, like we don't even need to remove it from the cardboard box that it comes in. But so it's a can of film inside a light, like a fully light proof
Yes.
plastic canister inside a little cardboard box, basically.
Right.
Um, if we never take it out of that, the first time that it has potential to get exposed after leaving after being created in the lab
Right.
over in Tokyo is when they remove it from that box to process the film whenever. So yeah, there is a non-zero possibility that it is damaged from the factory. Um, but I would be
But
but not likely. So
well,
at that
but
point,
more than that, I would
yeah.
hope that with your experience
Hmm.
and with other friends of ours
Right.
who, you know,
Yeah.
how are we such nerds? That we would be able to see and look and be like, there's a
I know what a light
strong
leak looks like.
potential.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've as someone who has a bunch of janky ass cameras, I know what a light leak looks like, and
There you are.
I know what film that wasn't put in the camera right looks like at the beginning of at the beginning of like I've screwed it up a bunch, so like I know what that looks like. So if we got things that weren't those, it again, not saying it's 100% ghosts, but like it would at least
Well,
be legitimately anonymous in my experience.
let me
So
say this right here, right now.
yeah,
Let me throw it down,
yeah,
as it were. Let's do this.
hmm
One, I'm game.
be
Hang
fun.
out. I'm guessing
Yeah,
we do the thing where we talk to nobody
hmm
in particular.
right.
Maybe ask some
Yeah,
questions.
we're gonna ask some questions.
Maybe
Yep.
maybe try to agitate.
hmm
Don't
I
want
don't.
to. You
Yeah,
don't want to agitate.
I don't want to agitate. I feel
What
like
if I just be a little condescending? You know,
well,
I'll be the bad cop.
yeah. I was gonna say I feel like that's gonna happen anyway. So like you probably don't need to.
Yeah. You're like, why are you wasting my time? I liked you better when you haul and spit. Anyway, we get this
Yeah,
process,
yeah.
get it back in, and then I think we if there's anything,
If there's anything,
if
yeah.
there's anything, we invite a couple people on. I'm thinking
That's
Emily,
yeah.
lots of photography
Yep.
experience. Another one of our friends who we haven't had on in a
hmm
while, Brian.
We have Brian on.
Brian
Yep.
is a great amateur photographer.
Yep. And I would. He's a very even keeled response, I think. So that
Oh,
would be a
for
great
sure.
experience. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I just think it'd be fun, and it's something different.
It's
So
an interesting idea. I
yeah,
do like it.
I think it's an interesting idea at least.
And you know what? I think the other thing to do, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is going to cost twice as much.
You think
But
about doing like a control?
well, we as we're doing the experiment,
Mm-hmm.
we regularly take film shots as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
All
Okay. To
right?
try and like document from that perspective. Okay.
That perspective, I mean, you can use your DSL digital
No,
camera as well, but
I'll use film again just to keep it
in
in the
addition,
same
because you know,
spectrum.
there's we don't have to be doing anything
Right.
with the experiment other than we're being there and we're
Yeah.
talking,
Asking questions.
and we
Yeah.
can each be flashing some photos during the time. So
Right.
one of us can be with a digital camera,
Sure. Yeah.
another can be with a film camera,
hmm
and you know, then the film box will stand alone.
Right.
And
I just think it'd be an interesting idea. I haven't heard of anyone else. I'm sure someone else has done this in recent
oh,
past, but I haven't
again,
seen
the
it.
fact that
So
we don't see
right,
examples of it, because
right.
I'm sure you looked a bit, you
I did.
know,
Yep, I did. And it's the kind of thing I
and
say with,
this is back in the 50s and 60s,
yeah,
eh?
yeah,
I like it.
yeah. And it's one of those things where I know I've said this to you before when coming up with other ideas about things, where like there's times where you look around and you see no one else is doing something. You're like, well, either this is a unique idea or it's very obviously not a good idea. I'm not sure which, but I think it's cool enough that I want to do it anyway. So,
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier a few
yeah.
minutes ago, I think the reason you didn't see any examples from
Hmm.
this experiment is because they were either nothing or they were
Right.
something that was so unremarkable
Right.
that, and we're gonna find out for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. Harvest House. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun either way. Something different. Um,
Agreed.
but so if you out there have an idea of an experiment that we should conduct that is just spirit communication, not channeling, as we've established, you can reach out and let us know. You can find us on Instagram or YouTube, or you can simply send us an email at theghostfurnacepodcast@gmail.com.